The Bed That Eats. Written, produced, and directed by George Barry. And he did other films like... Well, by God, he did no other films. This was his only film. Deathbed, The Bed That Eats. A film from 1977, because this is 1977 week here at Body Bags. So welcome to the Deathbed. Welcome to Body Bags. I'm your Thursday reviewer, Chris, from ChrisB Movies. You know my name is Chris. And you know I love B movies. George Barry did one film, and this was it. His magnum opus. The one and only. Deathbed, The Bed That Eats. I'm going to cough again. This is B movie making at its best. This movie is a cult hit. That's why cult epics put it out. Because it's such a cult film. Only film that George Barry ever did. Acting was not so bad in this film. I mean, for what they had to work with, I think they did a pretty good job in this film. A blast of a film, has some comedy thrown in, and the film at times tries to not take itself too seriously, but at times I think it really tries to. So I'm going to try to give you a synopsis best way I can. See, it's a demon who kind of lived in a tree, and he fell in love with a woman. And because he fell in love with a woman, he designed a bed for him and this woman to make love in. But while they were doing their thing, the woman died. Now, the demon was madly in love with this woman, so the demon was in despair. And the demon was on the bed, and he cried tears of blood. And when the blood hit the bed, by all means, the demon put a curse, and the bed comes to life to feast on humans. All of an effort to one day revive his sweetheart, who's buried in a very special place. You're going to find out within the context of this film. This film is set up in versions of breakfast. A young couple happen upon the bed in this old abandoned house, basically. And they come in with food, 2 apples and a box of chicken. And they decided to just jump on the bed and stop making love. All the while they're getting their groove on, one of the apples dissolves. Now, basically, acid comes up from the bed and just devours things. Apples, a whole bucket of chicken, not box, but bucket of chicken goes down. And as the bucket of chicken is going down, and you see it going down into the acid that's under the bed just kind of burps, lets out a belch. And then the 2 young lovers basically get eaten alive. Now, for lunch, there's 3 women who happen upon the abandoned house where this bed is in. And, well, some live, some die. I'm going to tell you one scene that had me cracking up on the floor. And if you haven't seen this film probably cracked you up as well. So one of the women actually gets sunken into the bed. The acid's like eating her up, but she escapes from the bed. She's slowly... in one of the longest escapes I've ever seen, slowly walking towards the door, and you see every slow effort of her to make it towards the door. As soon as she reaches the door, one of the bed sheets comes out, wraps around her, and drags her back into the bed. I lost it. I was crying so much. And then obviously the girl gets devoured. But one of the girl's brothers is trying to track his sister down. And when he does, there's a scene where, well, something happens to his hands. I am not going to ruin it for you. You really need to see this one. That also had me roaring. But eventually, also, one of the victims of the bed was spared by the demon. And he was an artist named Aubrey Beardsley. And instead of the bed and the demon basically devouring him and killing him, they basically... gave him immortality, where he would, because he was a famous artist, he would be given immortality right behind one of his paintings. And it almost feels like he got succumbed to inside the painting, but it was actually behind the wall of the painting, where he was given immortality, where he stays there and just watches, once every 10 years, when the demon wakes from his slumber, people getting eaten by the deathbed over and over and over and over and over again, and that's his fate. So at one point, towards dinner, and then just desserts, he coaxes the artist was able to speak to one of the women to tell her how to get rid, once and for all, of the deathbed and kill off the demon. All the while, the demon is trying to take one of the girls he's murdered and replace her with his one love to bring her back to life. So yeah, you got all this going on, but will the deathbed be destroyed? Will the demon be destroyed forever? You gotta watch Deathbed, the Bed That Eats. Very odd film, very strange film. I'm not gonna say the acting was totally bad. Sometimes it takes itself seriously, sometimes it doesn't. Like the scene where the bed eats the bucket of chicken just burps. I just lost it. There are a lot of scenes that are hilarious in this film. And it looks really good from Cult Epics. The print looks really good. I'm not sure if anybody else is going to try to work on this film, but it's probably the best it's ever going to look. George Barry, he made a cult film, man. And George, he basically made the film, forgot about it, and then he saw online that people were talking about it, and he's like, shit, why not release it? So I think they released it on DVD, and then he worked with Cult Epics to release his film. They actually redid this film. I haven't seen the other version of this film. But, you know, this is the original version, and this is the one to definitely check out first before you go and see the other versions of Deathbed. I think there's only one remake of it. I'm not sure if there's another one out. I know there's one remake, to be sure. And I still, like I said, haven't seen this one. But I really thoroughly enjoyed Deathbed, the Bed That Eats. It's a blast of a film. And this is my first time watching it. I have heard about this film for years, and I had it in my collection, but I just never jumped on it. Finally, I did. And by God. Oh, also to note, while I was watching this movie, my dog was like being totally wild and just started biting my arm. So it kind of added the effects of watching Deathbed, the Bed That Eats, because I was on my bed with my dog while my dog is attacking and biting my arm while watching Deathbed. So if you have a dog and they're a little hyper and they want to nibble, put in Deathbed, the Bed That Eats. Sit on your bed while your dog eats your arm and watch humans get dissolved inside the deathbed. It just adds to the effect of it. I just had to mention that. Sorry. But anyways, after watching this review, you can decide if you want to check out Deathbed, the Bed That Eats. And this is a film from 1977. Check out all the other reviews because they all got great stuff from 1977 coming your way. Yeah, still some heavy hitters coming. Some great reviews. And if you like, please like. And if you haven't already subscribed to Body Bags. Yeah, every week a different reviewer. We got theme weeks. We're having all types of fun coming. Awesome theme weeks on the way as well. As well as some random weeks where you just get plain old whatever horror we decide to pull from our collection and review. So check it all out. I'm going to put this on the cheeseometer, 10 being the best cheese ever, 1 being the worst cheese ever. I give it a solid 8. And I know I give a lot of high marks to a lot of films, but I love B-movies, and I especially love this film, Deathbed, the Bed That Eats. I'm definitely going to watch this one again. But I'll show you the disc first. That's a cover art you're going to get. That's basically the demon right there. Demon looks really cool in this film. Yeah, I'll show you the inside of it. That's basically all you get right there, but that's okay. You get a quality film. All right, and next week, I'm definitely going to bring something fun to the table. You know I will. You know I will. But don't forget to check out those late-night horror movies. Read up on your latest Fright Mags. But please don't forget to tune in to another episode of the show we call Body Bag. I'll put a curse on your bed, you know? A bed that eats.